Let's build a journal. Hello and welcome to the treasured page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. And today I'm working on the French linen botanical journal. So just to remind ourselves, I need to put the book plate on, as I definitely want the date of when I did it. And you can see I've got a pocket which I'm working on at the back, and this is all very much an unfinished project. This is something that I'm working on. This is a little personal quest of intrigue. I wanted to understand a little bit more about why we have such a fascination in the junk journaling world for looking into botanical images. I'm learning a lot about it, but the Victorian need for collecting plants wasn't a lot else going on, and it was just very highly fashionable to bring something from another country, some exotic little intrigue, something about seeing a beautiful flower in a different colour, in a different way, was hugely interesting. This is all in a time before the First World War. We hadn't had any of that. So here we are. This is Arthur Kilping Bully. He lived in Liverpool, and he was most active around. So he was born in 1861. When he was approaching 30, in his 20s and 30s and 40s. I mean, he was so active his whole life. He was a real worker, and he had just an unfounded vision of bringing plants and exotic beauty to everybody, anybody. If you didn't have any money, why should you not be able to enjoy the beauty of a Himalayan plant on your windowsill? I'm reading it. It's The Pioneering Plantsman, A.K. Bully and the Great Plant Hunters. It's a real fascinating book if you're interested in that history. And actually we all are interested in putting botanical images into our journal. So without all that preamble, this is what I'm doing today. I'm just going to be working in the journal. And looking at Kew Garden. I visited Kew Garden just when we were coming out of lockdowns. One of the first things we were allowed to go and do, we were allowed to go to open spaces where there was, I went to a botanical garden, and that was Kew Gardens in London, just outside London near Richmond. This is beautiful architecture here. One of the prompts in here is architecture, and Kew Gardens would definitely be my page for architecture, because this was it's not the biggest greenhouse that they have there, but it's the most visited because it houses the giant water lilies that they have got growing in there, all collected from around the world. This August 2022, they've just found and it was so timely, because I'm looking all about plant collectors from Victorian era, but modern day plant collectors. There is, I think he's either French or Italian. He's European anyway. He's got an accent. I'll have to look it up. But there was a YouTube video from Kew Gardens about two scientists, or botanists they are. They have found a brand new species of this lily pad, and these are huge. So a small child, a small toddler, can sit on top of one of these lily pads. They are enormous. You may have seen them elsewhere, because they're certainly available in other countries as well as a feature. And they've just found this new one, and they're so excited, and they've exhibited it into this greenhouse at Kew Gardens. They put it right in the middle, and it's pushed everything else out because it's so big. It's the biggest one they've got, and it's got pink rims, so it's a bit different, and they're calling it whatever it is. Does it tell you? Oh, that's annoying. Yes, they've just named it something, and then it's Oliviana. Something, Gigantus lily pad, Oliviana. That's its sort of the last bit of its name. Beautiful, really brilliant. Actually, that can go in there. That's nice, because that open space looked like it wanted something. So there's the tag, can go in there. And then, maybe that's nice there as a jam making idea, if I like that. or whether we want the bird. That ties in. Can't see it. Let me put it away from me. It's quite busy now. That's the bird, isn't it? It's the bird. Yes, so I just think we can add some extras here and there. So it's been fascinating learning all about the life work of the famous botanist in Liverpool, where the scene was set in Neston. And I'm just going to have that there as a little tuck spot. Put some labels in it. I might want those labels for something else, so now at least I know where they are. What I like about journals is that every time you look at it, you maybe think of something else, or your ideas have improved or developed as you go. So you're always adding to it. You're always looking at it and thinking, oh, well, that would have been really nice if that had been added, or it's missing something. So in that case, what I do is I prop the journal out of my way and I just quickly deal with whatever it is. And I think just going through and adding a few little extras is really, really fun. And just as we're talking, we can get going with something else in a minute. So we know that Arthur Bully was married, and he was very much part of the family business, and he was a cotton merchant. He got married to Harriet, and they were 29 when they got married. Then they had a big, long sort of working life together, and they didn't have children until she didn't have children until she was 40, and then that was their daughter. So they had her name was Agnes Lois Bully, and they thought the world of her, obviously. And then her brother came along 4 years later, so she was a bit older as a mum. Certainly in those times. But that was great. So that all worked out, so that he had his family. But they were very pioneering people. So I've put that at the top, not really thinking about it. I'll just see whether I like it. Poking out the top. It sort of echoes here. I think we're all right. Because if I do it that way, we won't see it. And maybe the plain is better, and then the discovery is more interesting. Good, okay, I'll do that. Going to just put down the glue there, which I know will grab it. So that was Fabri-Tac, but I've also got a 3-in-1 glue on hand. Oh, the other thing, so I was making these things, wasn't I? We've done both of those. One's a cluster and one's a stamped fabric. I want to bring in the fabric as well and just remind ourselves that we've got the fabric. Perhaps I would have liked that to come over a bit more. So we've still got a bit of time. So I was thinking a cluster, but actually now I've just seen that, I might prefer to have the quick and get that down to just glue the top of it so it's loose. A nice tactile thing to do. And then you can, it's nice to lift up. We could even stick something else underneath it. So we might come back to that idea. What's next? Right, so I'm happy with that. So we've done that. So then we've got this. Yep, that's good. Yep, that's nice. This one wants a stamp. Nothing going on in there. Nothing more boring than pulling out a plain piece of paper. If you're going to bring out something out of a letter, you don't really want a plain piece of paper, do you? Want to see something. So at least let's give it some cotton imagery. Let's go off piece and put it over here as a change. I like that. Isn't that nice? I just think these ones seem to frame the note paper quite nicely, so I'm going to stick with these ones. So this is just my permanent ink here I'm using, black archival. It seems to really have done very nicely on that paper, which is a vintage notepad, but it's sort of like a recycled paper. But I just found that in a charity shop. So we've got that there, we've got our tag. That's a bit boring, there's nothing on the tag, so we might want to just give that a little stamp of the cotton. So yes, so Arthur Bully had his cotton industry, and it was not just his, so there was the brothers as well, and they all ran it together when his father passed away, and of course it was his industry. It could have even been his grandfather's as well. These family businesses were passed down, weren't they, through the men, and that's what happened. So he came to work in it, and I think he was highly useful to his brothers. So he had two older brothers, number 13 out of 14, and I think he either had a younger brother or a younger sister, but there were 4 boys and 10 girls. There were 14 of them, 4 boys, 10 girls. So he was one of the younger ones anyway, and the other, this is a page that wants doing, and the other boys were also involved in the family business. And they went out and they did all sorts. They had a huge connection with America. That's where the cotton was being grown initially. And then they wanted to branch out into more places. Okay, and then I was working on this pocket. I'm not too worried that that's a bit crinkled. I am going to be covering it up with this bit here. I want to find another strip of card, maybe from this. It's not quite. Just got to get a bit of junk mail that's big enough. Oh, maybe the back of a Tim Holtz salad. Perfect. So this is a Tim Holtz stencil. I've had it for a while now, and I've sort of kept putting it back in the packet, but actually it just needs to be available and not in a scrunchy packet. So I've also found this red bead, and I just thought, oh well, that's nice. I like that, like an apple. Apples in the tree. So they would have had apples in the tree, and people would have come by to probably collect the windfalls. So I'm going to... So I've got these big ones, but they're too chunky for the journal. They're great. They're lovely colour. And I just sort of... These came off of an old bracelet, and I'll just... If I can get a few of those, I think I'll sew them on. I haven't got any green ones, so we can't have green apples. We'll have to have red apples. So they kind of look like apples. They're little wooden beads. They just came off a bracelet, I believe. How many apples do we want? 3? Like that. Maybe one up there. We might be able to get another one. Let's have a look. I could get 4, but aesthetically, so we could have it like that. Let's just see what it looks like with lots of apples. It's a bit much, isn't it? I think we'll just stick with 3. Right, one there, one there, one there. That's nice. Up there somewhere, that's it. And then, I won't worry about the others, but I do want to do something else there. We can't have blue because that would look strange. The only other thing I could do, very Victorian thing, is hanging silver charms in trees. That went on a lot. That's what the modern day Christmas tree is all about, with all the trinkets on. So it's a little bit of a nod to that sort of Victorian tree, which has its roots in, oh, I don't know, what a, pagan tradition, I believe. But that was all honouring nature, so I don't see bells in the tree. How about that? I've got these sort of Indian bells, or are they Indian? Well, they could be from somewhere else. So I've got 4 little bells there. I might like that. And see if I can sew on a couple of these little bell charms, see what that looks like. If I could just get one off. Oh, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? One up there. We'll just do this, we'll just echo it like that. Yes, that's nice. Can have another, I'll find a bead and we'll make that into a charm for something else to hang on to the journal. Something a little bit more like it might have come from one of these travelling places to pick up the seeds from all over the world they went. I've been reading about it. They went to, well, California was the big one. They went to the Andes. They crossed over the Rocky Mountains in Canada. He crisscrossed over the mountains very thoroughly in 1930s. So he just seemed to fund all these expeditions. So the main goal was to bring seeds back home from all over the world and then allow them to be brought to the everyday person. Right, I've got some red thread here. I'm just going to attempt to sew on this bead. I've sewn down each side, and this is now going to be my pocket here, which I'm just simply going to glue on like everything else, but making sure I use the waterproof Fabri-Tac. Just put that there. I think that's going to be okay. I really just like the scalloped edge more than the rest of it. Right, okay, so yeah, I'm just going to now stick down all 3 sides of my pocket. So down it goes. Okay, so the clips are on just to keep that all in place, just for a moment. So we've got the pocket there and a pocket there. So that's nice. So now we can just sort of put some ephemera pieces back in. All the botanical artwork. I've got this which we've stamped, so I might like that to go there. I was thinking about sewing it on, but I've sort of thought, oh, I'll probably back it with something, then sew it around and then stick it on, but I'd like to have a date on there. And then these were just some journaling cards, which I now feel they're going to be okay to go in. Great. Okay, so there's all the ephemera pieces that need to go into the journal, and then we're just going to add the date to this. Okay, I've set it to the date that I want, and I'm just going to see which way up this needs to be. That's perfect. So now I'm going to do that again, but this time I'm just going to have it here. So this is permanent black ink. Little rock and roll, There we go, that's plenty. I mean, we can see that, can't we? You can just smooth it out with a spreader, make sure that there's nothing, I just don't want a big puddle of it. And then that can go down there. And I can pull these pieces off here just to be a frayed edge. Right, here we are all stitched round back from the sewing machine, and I'm just going to, I think, you know, where a pocket is possible, let's have a pocket. So I'm just going to go round 3 sides of it, and we'll have another pocket there. And that just wants the paperweight on it for a moment. Okay, so this is all stuck down. I'm just adding a little ticket in there, so that's nice now. And I found this under here, this nice artwork, which has been printed onto very fine paper. And so I'm just going to paper clip that on there. I'm not committing because at the moment on this other page it's a flip like that. But I'll just, I'll probably want this here because I like the red of the apples. So I'm just going to paper clip that on there and see if we can do something with that later on. And then just to finish off this pocket, I did have this trim left over from my other journal, and I think it's just about long enough. So I'm just going to have that on there just to give that a nice finish. And I can always do something there. Well, I don't think it needs it, but just going to use my Fabri-Tac again and glue that on, I think, and then it's just a nice way to finish off this pocket idea. I'm putting a nice swirl of glue all the way down, and Fabri-Tac is really the best product for this. It's like a liquid glue gun, so you could use a glue gun, a hot glue gun. It grabs instantly, and it does boast that it's machine washable, so you could put embellishments onto a t-shirt for a child or something, and effectively it can go in the washing machine and stay and be kept. If it seeps out, it sort of rolls off. I mean, the whole thing is just really good. It's just, it is expensive for us in the UK because it's an American glue, and but it's good, it's worth it, and for archival reasons, you know, I've found that it stays put. And the only thing I want to do is just hold that in place, and just, it sets so instantly, so I think we're all good. And it will soak into the fabric and create a nice bond. And so that's just how to add another pocket on top of the pocket that we already had. So if you've already built a pocket into your journal, and maybe you've orientated them this way, maybe you've sewn them across, and well done to those that have been sending in pictures. They're absolutely brilliant. It's such a pleasure to see. I've seen one with pockets already all the way across, so that's great. So you could now add another pocket. You could make them any size, and if you've got the Fabri-Tac, you know, it's just card, you can line it with fabric if you want it all to match in, and maybe embellish your fabric, maybe sew on some pockets or some extra bits as well. Just have fun with that and embellish them with some beads or charms or anything that you fancy, and just give yourself a little bit more of intrigue, interest, particularly if you're going to keep it. I know if you haven't got to the point of sewing in your signatures, you could just tie some elastic and have the traveller notebook style. I think there's also room for another signature in this journal if you have made it to these measurements. It would be tight, you might not want to do do one as thick, but you could add in a few more pages if you want, probably either side, and you've certainly got room to add that ephemera holder with a belly band at the front or something. But I think what I am going to work to do something here, something else maybe with pockets. I want to hide up this sewing that I've got, so that's something that I'll work towards doing. But you know, we just keep building, keep adding, keep coming up with the ideas. Nothing's off the cards. It's all here for fun and development. So I hope that that's been another little source of inspiration for you. A place to keep all your bits and bobs while you find them, and keep searching for things that you'd like to put into your journal. And what will your theme be? And does it have to be a theme? No, it doesn't. It can be from a day to day. It can change. So the prompts I'm sort of dipping into, we've had into nature. Well, I think that one's really cool, into nature, where we've got the different trees there, so that's kind of good. Crafty camouflage. Oh, I don't know if that. Be yourself. So we want one with bees. We've got a bee card in here. There's a bee. Oh look, there's a bee. There you are. Be yourself. That's a prompt for today. So you could do something with bees. We need to do the bee one. That's a good one. And this has got bees. Here we are. There's loads of bees. We've already beed ourselves. I can see 3 bees. I like bees. And the seed company that Arthur Bully started was called Bees and Co. So there we go. We've achieved the bees. Be yourself prompt today just by already doing it. What's tomorrow if we were going to do it? Oh, quotes and florals. Yes, okay. Well, we want a quote then, don't we? Well, we've got plenty of florals going on. So if you would like to make your own journal and you've just joined us and you're intrigued, do please head over to the playlist that is entitled French Linen Botanical Journal, and they'll show you start to finish how to make something similar to this. You can change the fabrics. It doesn't have to be linen. It could be any fabric that's a decent weight fabric, nothing too thin. I've made it in this way based on what materials I had inside, and it will grow as the journal grows, so it should all just settle in and bend round. Look really cool. And it's already starting to fill out, so that's really fun. Okay guys, so thank you very much for joining me. Do please like and subscribe, press the bell, because I know that these videos come out at random times at the moment. I am getting to grips with all of this, and hopefully that'll improve and settle into a nice schedule in the future, but at the moment it is a little bit haphazard, so the bell icon will alert you to my videos and then you won't miss anything if you're following along. And above all else guys, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.